Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Doctors Go Live with me, Nina. And today we are going to be talking about why is my skin so itchy? Okay, so who do we have with us today? Who's tuning in? Let us know if you're tuning in right now, where you're tuning in from. And it's always so good to hear from each and every one of you. And do share with us what is it that you guys would love to learn in today's episode of Why is My Skin So Itchy? In fact, how many of you guys probably sounds wrong, have itchy skin? Let us know in the chat what's going on for you because today you never know. Our expert today might be able to help sort you out. Okay. So if you share this video out as well, we have a special treat for you. You get to take part in our Doctors Go Live quiz happening right at the end of the show, at the end of the Q&A, where you get a chance to win today. It's a lunchbox, so be sure to pay attention. Welcome, everybody. Hey, Lorraine, Jacqueline. Wow, tuning in from Kuching. Welcome. Che Na, Momo, as usual, Casey. So nice to see each and every one of you. So get ready for a really exciting episode. Okay. Now, all this is happening right here in Doctors Go Live with me, Nina. And today, our special guest is visiting consultant dermatologist from Columbia Asia Hospital, Klang, Dr. Meera Kuppusamy. Now, what are we talking about? Itchy skin, which can be one of the most annoying, irritating, and painful experiences. And it's often hard to pin down just exactly what's causing it. From something as simple as eczema, allergic reaction to dry skin, bed bugs, or even a fungal infection, or worse, it can be a symptom of something much more worse like liver disease or kidney failure. So, how do we know what the main cause is, or when should we be worried, and when do we get immediate help, and how can we get immediate and fast and immediate relief? We'll be looking to all this and more in today's episode of Doctors Go Life. Okay, so if you know somebody who's going to benefit from today's information and is going to be super useful for them, and you think it's such an important topic to share that more people should be more aware of, then please share this video out on your social media, tag your friends, follow us, because this episode is definitely going to make a difference in your lives today. All right, so first, before we get into this, let's take a look at the video coming up.
Hi, I'm Dr. Meera. I'm a consultant dermatologist at Columbia Asia Klang. Do you suffer from skin allergies or has skin allergies prevented you from eating certain food? Join me as I talk about this topic on Doctors Go Live on January 18th at 3 p.m. See you then.
All right, welcome back. If you've just joined us, welcome to another episode of Doctors Go Live. And today we are talking about why is my skin so itchy? Okay, and here to shed some light on this topic and to answer all our questions, please welcome our expert for today from Columbia Asia Hospital, Klang, visiting consultant dermatologist Dr. Meera Kuppusamy. Dr.
Hi,
Meera, welcome.
Hi, Nina. Thanks for the introduction. Hi, everyone.
Thank you
Thanks for
so much for
joining.
joining us here, Doc. Now, before we begin, a couple of reminders for our audience. Right at the end of the show, we've got our Doctors Go Live quiz where you get to win a lunchbox today. So please pay special attention to Dr. Meera, okay? Also, if you have any questions, feel free to ask at any time in the chat, and we're going to address them right at the end of the session, all right? So let's begin, Dr. Meera. Before we begin here, Doc, could you share with us a little bit about yourself? What exactly do you do? And what does a dermatologist do actually?
Okay. That's a very interesting question because not a lot of people know what we do. So basically, I'm a dermatologist in Columbia Asia Klang, and I treat all kinds of skin conditions, all the way from little newborn babies up to the elderly. So we treat all kinds of skin conditions, not only skin allergies, also things like autoimmune disease, even conditions like psoriasis and eczema. So it's a wide variety of diseases we treat.
Wow, that's quite a lot of things. And how did you get? How did you start it in medicine, and why dermatology?
Well, I always wanted to be a doctor, but what kind of doctor I decided later on,
Uh
because
huh.
dermatology is It's probably the only specialty where you can actually see the problem because it's on the skin. Like in other conditions, it's inside and you cannot really see it. But dermatology is a because I'm a very visual person. So being able to see the skin lesions at the beginning and when it gets better is really rewarding.
But it involves a lot of detective work as well, right? Because you can see at the top, but you can't really see what's causing it, right?
Indeed. So a lot of detective work, and we also ask history like a detective to get the right cause.
Okay, that's fantastic. So you get to do a lot of detectiving. Okay, so Doc, why is it important that we talk about today's topic? What do you want the audience to take home? What is it that we need to know that we don't know that you know? Gee, there's a lot of no's.
Okay. well, well, I think it's just such a common disease. I'm sure, like you also, Nina, have had some itchy skin condition in some point of your life. Me, definitely, and a lot of I think the audience can agree to. It's just so common, and when it's mild, like it lasts 1 or 2 days, it's okay. Even without treatment, will be okay. But when it becomes a little bit more, it lasts a bit longer, maybe a week or two. This is when the problem starts. So what
Wow.
happens? Yeah.
Okay, it's pretty common, huh? I'm not aware because I think I'm lucky. I hardly get only when something bites me and pew, I get a pimple. That's it.
Okay, then you're lucky.
Okay, so we're gonna go and find out how many percent of Malaysians or people actually have this, yeah, kind of
Yeah,
thing. Let's take a look at the slides here, Doc. So first
sure.
things first, Doc. What are skin? Let's get straight into this. First things first. What do we mean when we talk about skin allergies?
Well, skin allergy, the topic is it's a very broad topic. So a lot of conditions come under this. But the reason that we use the word skin allergy is because this is what the patients will say. Doctor, I have a skin allergy here. So then it's up to me to decide what kind of skin allergy is the patient talking about.
Right. Okay.
So
So it's like I have
big
something's wrong with
umbrella.
my skin, something like that, right?
Correct, correct.
Okay.
And then
So
yeah.
yeah. So is this like very common? Because you mentioned just now it's common. How common is it, and who is normally at risk?
Okay, like in my practice itself, say if I have 10 patients with skin problems, more than 50% of them will come in with some sort of skin allergy. So it's that common, 50%.
Wow. Okay, I
Yeah.
guess I'm really lucky then. Okay. So 50% actually have skin allergies. And is
Yeah.
it something that we generally do not take seriously?
Well, it depends though. Like certain conditions that you asking which age group, it can be from little babies. And sometimes patients with like when it depends on the age group, if they're little very small, so the parents do tend to take it a bit more seriously. But if the patient is a bit older, a teenager or an adult, they tend to not really care so much unless it's becomes serious.
Right. Do you think a lot of people out there don't know that they have skin allergies? Just wondering.
Well, that's true. They might not know that they have a tendency to get the skin allergy, but trust me, when you know when your skin is itchy, you will know it.
Okay, so itchy is good because it tells you there's something wrong. It's a sign that you need to
Yeah.
look into it. Okay, got
Yeah.
it, got it. Okay, so let's take a look. What causes these allergies? Is it genetic or is it something else?
Well, okay. Well, it's actually many factors that contribute towards allergy. One of it is genetics, which we cannot run away from. So we have patients with either eczema or sinusitis, which is a very allergic nose condition, asthma, and certain food allergies. All these have genetic components, but they are triggered by the external elements like dust or chemicals or perfumes, fragrances.
Wow. So would you say that almost everyone who has like a skin allergy problem, it's usually passed down from our families, our parents or grandparents?
Yeah, I would say almost everyone. It's just certain patients cannot really find the anyone in their family tree who has it, so it might have skipped a generation. So it could have been in the generations above their parents.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So what are some common types of skin allergies?
Okay, so in this picture here, we actually show this is one of the commonest type of skin allergy and very easy to treat and cure. So this is an allergy to metals, which is a nickel. So in
Mhm.
people that wear cheap earrings, we do get some kind of irritation or Um, some itching and some bleeding can be from the earrings or necklaces. And this picture of the abdomen is actually from the
Got it.
metal on the buckle. It can cause
Mhm.
this irritation. So it's called
Okay,
nickel
okay.
allergy.
Nickel allergies. Okay. And what about this type? Yeah, doc?
Okay, this is so common. In fact, today I saw almost three patients with this condition.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so this is lips dermatitis.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes it's caused by genetic factors, but usually it's genetic factors plus triggered by external factors as well. So this
Mm.
is lip dermatitis.
Okay, so basically it's something that you have in you, but then it gets triggered by something outside. But
Exactly.
doc, some people might like this because it makes the lips bigger.
Not
But
when it's itchy, you wouldn't like
you're
it.
right. If it's itchy, it's not. I
Yeah.
take that back. Okay. And what about eczema yet, doc? Because we talk a lot of, when we talk about skin allergy, there's a lot of talk about eczema and
Okay.
psoriasis as well, right?
Psoriasis is a little bit different. Usually, we don't categorize psoriasis in the skin allergy department.
Oh, okay. Maybe you can share with us what is
Yeah.
eczema,
So
what is
psoriasis is
atopic
more of an
eczema, and what is
autoimmune disease.
psoriasis.
So we wouldn't call
Mhm.
it as okay.
Psoriasis
So
was what
atopic
again? Sorry.
eczema is a condition. It's in more categorized under the autoimmune conditions.
Ah, okay, got it. And what is eczema then?
Okay, so eczema is a disease whereby you get very itchy lesions from a baby. It can start when you're a baby, or it
Hmm.
can start when the child is older. So it is due to genetic causes and environmental causes, such as a very hot environment, humidity, increased humidity, dust mites is a common trigger. And
Hmm.
sometimes in little babies, atopic eczema can be triggered by food.
Right. And what do we mean by atopic? That means it's at that particular area, is it?
Oh no, atopic is it's a like a group of conditions. So
Oh,
atopic
okay.
means that the patient is hypersensitive. So we have
Right.
atopic eczema, and when it's sensitive in the nose, you call it rhinitis. Allergic in the eyes, allergic conjunctivitis. So all these come under the name of atopic. That means they are hypersensitive.
I see. Okay, okay, got it. And it doesn't just happen to kids, does it?
No, no. In fact, it can happen to kids. And in older children, they usually have it on their arms and legs, especially when they start going to school. When they start to sweat and wear uniforms, which is like not very comfortable, then they get eczema on the arms and legs.
Okay. Does it tend to happen at a certain place for certain people?
Yeah, in fact, that's a good question because in little babies you get the eczema on the face. As the child grows older, the eczema moves then to the arms and the legs, and in the older age group, maybe 50s and above, you would get eczema mostly on the legs because of the dryness of the skin. So it
I,
does different locations.
I see. And could you share again how it's different from psoriasis? Because you said that one is as a result of a disease, is it?
Okay, yeah. So psoriasis is actually not due to skin allergy. Psoriasis has a very strong genetic component and is not triggered by food or humidity or sweat or dust mites. So it's a totally different disease.
Okay. But you look into that as well as a dermatologist, right?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's eczema. What about hives? Is it the same as urticaria gagata? Is it the same thing, just different names?
Yes, basically it's the same thing. Most patients in Malaysia will call it gagata. I would describe it as large mosquito bites. So that's how we can tell it whether it's gagata or hives. So patient with hives gets these big mosquito bites that appear out of nowhere suddenly. And
Wow.
then, yeah, it comes suddenly and it will actually improve by 24 hours. But what happens is the next day it just comes back. So this is a symptom of hives or gagata.
Wow. So it improves in 24 hours without any medication.
Exactly.
Wow.
But it
Okay.
comes back.
Then it comes back. Wow. This is sounds like that chips more chocolate that keeps coming back. What? Why does it happen here, doc?
For gagata, well,
Yes.
basically, yeah, it can be triggered by infections. Most of the time, it's due to just a viral infection, a little runny nose 2 weeks ago. and Gagata can be triggered. Or sometimes
Wow.
we just can't find the cause actually.
Wow. So it just happens lah. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, the other thing I wanted to ask you is, does it happen at any age? I mean, we saw that it can start from a child, but does it, if you have it as a young child, can it be gone as you're older? Or if you don't have it, suddenly you have it when you're older? I'm just wondering.
Okay, so for Gagata or hives, there's actually two kinds. So one is an acute kind. That means it just comes for a couple of days and it goes off for the rest of your life. However, there's a chronic kind which can go on and on and on from when you were a kid until you're older. So there are two kinds of Gagata, and some patients have most patients that I see, because we are a specialist hospital, most patients that I see have the chronic kind. So
Wow.
patients with the short 2 or 3 days Gagata either goes to their GP or doesn't take any treatment at all.
Okay, got it. And what about the other kind of skin allergies? Like I think as a child, I used to sneeze a lot because
Yes.
of dust, and it would be itching. But after I moved, it was fine. Moved
Hmm.
overseas, it was fine. And when I come back, I don't have it anymore. So I'm just wondering, with respect to age, does it happen at any time for
Yes,
different
for
ones? Yeah.
correct. You're right. Actually, atopic eczema does tend to happen more as children, maybe around 4 to 5 years old.
Uh huh.
And then subsequently, the skin lesions can actually all disappear, and they may have a sensitive nose only. And even that can go away, or they may persist and develop asthma later in life. So
Mm.
these three conditions are all the atopic diseases and are very closely related to each other. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Got it. Okay. Yeah. So sometimes it gets worse with ages as well, is it?
Yes, definitely. In elderly people, we do get a lot of patients with eczema, especially on their legs. But then at the end of the day, it spreads all over. This is because sometimes, the elderly, they don't really take care of their skin so much. They just use any random soap, random products on their skin, and they have very dry skin. So
They're
above
very
the age of 40, all our skin becomes dry.
okay. What about treatments, yeah, doc? Because we talk a lot about the conditions and whatnot. Is there actually treatments for these allergies, or is just something that we have to live with because, you know, we are allergic to things, and it's something that we have to manage the rest of our life?
Well, that's a good question. Well, good news and bad news. There is treatment. There is treatment that can manage the symptoms, but most of these conditions are conditions that have no cure. So,
Wow. Okay. Okay.
so they
So that
will
means
be. Yeah, sorry.
we need something to manage it lah, because there's no cure, right?
Correct, correct. So don't be
Right. Okay.
surprised if it comes back 10 years later.
It can sleep for 10 years.
It can actually.
Doc, what's the most curious or interesting case you've had? I think if you could share an interesting case that can really enlighten all of us.
Okay, well, this is actually, I don't know, interesting and maybe a bit sad as well. So I had this patient with her whole family has atopic diseases. So some sensitive nose, some sensitive eyes with dust. So she's a 14 years old girl. She comes in, she says there was something wrong with her nipples,
Mm-hmm.
right? So she sees a GP doctor and says, "Oh, you've got a lump on your nipple." Right? So they refers her to the surgeon, and the surgeon does an operation on her, takes out this tissue from her nipple to just make sure it's not anything serious, and then it comes back as normal. And at the end, the tissue actually comes back as just eczema. So all she had was purely nipple eczema. So just to highlight that eczema can actually just focus on certain areas. Just now we showed the lips,
Yeah.
that is lips eczema. So it can actually just be on the nipple or just on the hand. So it can be just localized, focused eczema.
Right. So for different people, it can hit the same place, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
So what's your advice for people? Because I think the first thing you hear lump on your nipple or breast, you think it's cancer, right? Even if you're 14. So the first thing is like, what's your advice to people with respect to this?
Okay, that's the thing. Well, I guess it's no fault of the patient because the patient was just following the doctor's instructions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my advice would be like for as a patient, I guess you need to give a full history of, my family has allergic nose, allergic eyes, and now my symptoms. It's like, it actually became a lump because the patient was scratching it so much and became inflamed. So maybe if she would have told the story, like, how it started, and then now it looks like a lump, but it didn't start as a lump, it could
Right.
have prevented her from undergoing the surgery. So for skin conditions, we need to be thorough
Mm-hmm.
and tell how it started. Actually, I think that's really, really important. Mm.
Right. So the history of it. That's really a good example. Thank you so much for sharing with us, kind of thing. Um, let's talk about blood tests, yeah, doc. Is that
Yeah.
sort of like a treatment? Can it help cure? Or what can a
Okay.
blood test do?
Okay. I mean, blood test is one of the favorites for everyone because patients think that once you do the blood test and you know that, for example, you're allergic to eggs, right? Even if you don't eat eggs for the rest of your life, you will still have the allergy. So it's not a solution. So
Right.
because the reason is it's not a single factor causing these allergies, it's many factors. So even if you take off one factor, there's just so many other factors. So it can't cure. It may reduce the symptoms a bit, but it cannot cure the condition.
So then what's the cure then, doc? I know you said there
Well,
isn't any. So what's the best way then?
well, one thing is some conditions, like the picture on our right is the picture of the arm with little dots on it. So that test
Mhm.
is actually called a skin prick test. So patients with hives or gagata, we can perform this test just to see like which allergen, which substance is causing the hives. Because if it's positive, a hive will develop there. So for hives, we can actually do this test. For eczema, there's actually no test that's suitable to do. Shouldn't do any testing.
Wow. Okay. So if that's the case, what's your advice for people who do suffer from eczema and all these allergies? How can they manage their life and get relief for the long term?
Okay, I mean for the long term, because patients will be moving from one doctor to another doctor looking for a solution, looking for a cure,
Okay.
right? Because all of us want to be cured of our condition. I think one thing is they should find a, a, a good professional doctor who can actually explain to them, even if you see 20 doctors, you're not going to find a cure for this condition. So let me help you manage this condition. So one,
Right.
hmm,
Mm-hmm.
don't go doctor hopping from one doctor to another. Choose
Mm-hmm.
one and then stick with that doctor so that doctor can actually manage you and change the treatment based on your symptoms. Yeah,
Okay. That's a very good advice, doc, because we assume that it's not going to work, but actually it's not just a one-off thing. You have to do several things, test and go back, test and see if that works, right?
exactly,
So
exactly.
in a treatment, yeah, doc, how long or how if people want to move lah, let's say doctors, right? How
Yes.
long can you start seeing results, or how fast? I suppose I don't know what the right term is. Fast or long?
Okay, well, for things like eczema, if you see a dermatologist and she starts you on moisturizers and steroid creams, you could see effects within 2 to 3 weeks.
Mm,
But for like hives or gagata, usually within 2 or 3 days of taking the medication, you can see effects. So it's pretty fast, I think.
okay. And in the cases that you see, adult, what's the most common one when it comes to itchiness or skin allergies?
Okay, usually it's eczema, to be honest. Yeah, sometimes it's due to just genetic factors. Sometimes it's due to nickel, as I told you, like nickel allergy. It looks like eczema as well. They all look the same.
Hmm. And it's easy in Malaysia. Is it the percentage of Malaysians who have eczema? Is it like the serious kind or the manageable kind?
Okay, because our hospital it's a
It's much less.
specialist hospital. So in this
Uh-huh.
hospital, I do see more serious kinds.
Hmm.
Yeah, the patients
And
with
when
mild Mild
Gone.
eczema would usually, yeah, they would see a GP or get something from the pharmacy. They don't really come to hospitals. But overall, in Malaysia, mild eczema is the most common.
Okay, so at least 50% of us have it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, maybe 50 of the 50, right?
at
Kind of
some
thing.
point.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's take a look at the next slide. How long does an allergy last? And could some of them be doing something that they need to live and manage, I guess?
Yeah, like some conditions that I mentioned just now, like the hive. So the acute form, which just lasts for 2 or 3 days. So it
Mm-hmm.
can be as short as 2 or 3 days, or it can be as long as lifetime. So it varies.
This is the Gagata one, right? Hives?
Gagata usually can last 2 or 3 days. The
Uh-huh.
short version, and also the
Uh-huh.
chronic version can last for a lifetime. In fact,
Lifetime. And what about eczema?
eczema also depends on each patient. Sometimes they only have it during childhood, and they're
Mm-hmm.
totally fine until they're adults.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's during childhood and it never stops, so it can be lifetime
Wow.
as well.
Wow. Okay. So I guess I guess it's the same, right? Okay. Now, how do we know if we need urgent when we need to get urgent help?
Okay, well, there's a few symptoms that we should be very careful about if we
Mm-hmm.
have the hives or gagata and we develop swelling of our lips or swelling of our eyes or a choking feeling or you cannot breathe. When you have these three conditions, you better go and seek a treatment at the emergency room immediately because
Mm-hmm.
this can actually cause you to be unable to breathe and can become very serious.
Okay. So this one is emergency case situation. Go straight to hospital. Don't go GP, right?
Don't go GP, go hospital.
Okay. What about in other cases?
Okay, like things like eczema, well, if it's involving the end, some patients have eczema involving the entire body. I think, I'm not sure if you've seen people like that. They just look red all over.
Mm-hmm.
Conditions like this, it's best to seek treatment at a hospital. Either you can go to emergency or to the hospital clinic, either one.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not
What
life
about
threatening. Mm.
it's not life threatening, but you can still go to
Mm.
hospital. What about people who have itch? You know, they just think it's something mild. I can just they self medicate. When should they pay attention?
Yes. Well, if they self medicate and it goes away in 1 or 2 days and never comes back, fine, it's okay. But if the skin lesion keeps coming back
Hmm.
and the cream starts to not work, then they should see a doctor about it.
Okay, so that means more than 3 days lah.
Maximum, I would say, yeah, 5 days.
Maximum 5 days. Okay, okay. Because there are some people who actually live with it for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then they come, and by then it's gotten really bad, right?
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So if you're tuning in, 5 days max, okay, for your skin to be itchy.
Don't wait too
No
long.
excuse. Okay, Doc, anything else you want to share, like some real life experiences that might help our audience who's tuning in?
Yeah, sure. Because I think there are a lot of maybe parents also in the who are watching us. So parents with kids with eczema, this is a very big. Lots of my patients are children with eczema. So always parents will come and ask me, what is the cause of eczema? So because they've gone to so many doctors and they're hearing different things being told. So
Mm-hmm.
when they come to me, then I have to explain to them, eczema is genetic cause and then environment cause, and then eczema most of the time will last until the child's around 10, 11 years old, and then it will go away,
Oh
right? So
wow.
that's the good news. That's the
Ah
good news.
yeah.
But meanwhile, while the eczema is still there, the parents need to be very disciplined and actually apply moisturizers many, many times a day. So up to every when the child has very severe eczema, I advise every 2 hours. Can you imagine if the parents work? It's very difficult if they're
Yeah.
working. Hmm. And if the eczema is not so bad, 3 to 4 times a day of pure moisturizer, and then followed by medicated creams or steroid creams. So, and because the parents are looking for cure, and they do ask me, like, what food can I not give the child? This is the favorite question.
Mm.
what food they cannot eat. Um, because maybe they receive some wrong information from online sources or Facebook groups or other doctors who have wrong misconception. So what I usually tell them is, unless the child has, after eating a certain food, they get swelling of the lips, swelling of the eyes, or the eczema around the mouth becomes really bad, then you should restrict them from eating that food. Then only you pantang that food.
I
If not,
see.
yeah,
Okay.
if not, please don't pantang the food for eczema child, because eczema is not just caused by food. It's not
I
just caused by egg, not by seafood. So
see.
this is what I tell the patients a lot of times. I think I repeat this story several times a day.
Okay, which goes into my next question. You know, a lot of people they hear about these blood tests. You can tell which you're allergic to. Do you actually recommend it, especially if you have no problem?
Totally no. Please do not do unnecessary blood tests, especially even
And
with
it's not
eczema.
cheap, these blood tests.
It's like 400 to 600 ringgit. So please do not do unnecessary blood tests. And because I know you're looking for the cure, but you're not going to find it in there.
I
Even if
see.
it's something is positive, example, if you get egg positivity and you don't eat egg, you will still have the skin allergy.
Mm, okay.
Mm.
Eggs is just one of the things that triggers it. One of the things,
Exactly.
probably.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. Okay, so going back to the story that you tell, so that means food doesn't help, does it?
Yeah, and that's why I told you the few symptoms that the parents need to watch out for is like if they, after eating a certain food and then they develop eczema around the mouth, swelling, these are the foods that they should pantang. Otherwise,
Ah,
no pantang.
the usual allergy route lah, not preventive. I'm gonna do blood tests and avoid. Okay, got it.
No, no, no such thing.
Okay, okay. So we go back to basic. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the. I think it's the last slide. I believe. Could I have the slide on? Yeah. Okay. So, Doc, what can you share with us? Your nasihat and what is this miracle cream?
Okay, I also don't know what is this miracle cream, but I see it online.
They actually
So
market it as miracle cream, is it?
exactly, it's like
Mhm.
on the Shopee and Lazada and so on. It's just this one is a public service announcement. So any cream or any medication actually that can cure everything, please don't take. There's no medicine or cream that can cure everything. Because one, they could be containing very dangerous substances for tablet medication. Cream medication could contain very strong steroid creams, which is can be harmful. So, and I put this social media here is because a lot of my patients actually is getting information from social media nowadays.
Correct.
And they tell me that they saw this on TikTok. So
Hmm.
because there's no restriction, anyone can put a video on TikTok, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so just to be careful what you read on social media. If you're not sure, ask your doctor, GP
Mhm.
doctor. If you want further explanation, please go and see a specialist.
Okay, got it. Have you had any patients who actually bought such miracle creams and did it backfire, or it was just okay? You just rugi do it.
No, so many actually, so many. There's some miracle creams that come from China. This is a very favorite cream among psoriasis and eczema patients.
Mm-hmm.
So they tell me, oh doktor, sapu 2 hari sudah baik.
Okay. Does it
Wow, it's a
actually work?
miracle. It works because it contains the most strongest steroid ever, which
Ah,
you shouldn't be using on certain areas of your face or your body. But there are actually some of them actually put it on little kids as well. Because after 2 hari sudah baik,
so what's the side effect, yeah? Or the
it can,
implication of using such creams?
well, first of all, whether the diagnosis was correct, whether you should use steroid creams or not. Number two, can actually cause you to have thinning of the skin, can cause you to have a fungal infection on that area, and then it will make the problem more difficult for the dermatologist to treat you because we don't know what was there before.
Mm. And we don't know what's inside the cream, right? Especially they're from China or all these
There's
places,
no
right?
way to there's no way
Mm.
to know. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So basically, moral of the story: stay away from miracle creams, especially if you find them on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. I think Mak Dean is so cute. He actually said, "Yeah, kat TikTok ada jual miracle cream." Nasib baik tak beli. Ha, nasib
Nasib
baik you
baik.
watch Columbia Asia. Doctors go live, right? Kind of thing. Okay, Doc. So in summary, yeah, Doc. Now that you shared with us all these pointers, what do we need to remember when it comes to why our skin is itchy?
I
And what
think
are the
when
steps we need to take? Yeah.
Okay, what we need to remember, like our take home messages here, is there's many causes of skin itchiness. So, just now Nina mentioned the 5 days rule. So if you
Mhm.
have your skin itchiness within 5 days and it goes away and never come back, you're fine. You'll be
Yay.
okay. Don't worry. If it lasts more than 5 days or it keeps happening, or it's involving a very big area of your body, please see a professional doctor.
Okay.
I would advise you not to see a general doctor because sometimes the treatment could be different. They might advise you differently. And then when you come and see the dermatologist, I will say something else. Then they'll say, doktor hari tu cakap lain, you cakap lain. So it
Mm.
confuses people. So I think you straight see the right person. It will help you a lot. And what was your second question, Nina?
What do we need to remember? Yeah.
Yes. So more than 5 days, please see a professional. That's
Okay.
my strong advice.
Okay, cool. Because GPs look at overall, but then when it comes to skin, you go straight to the specialist. Yeah, so they can zoom in because they have more data and expertise, right, in the area. And in your experience here, Doc, in your experience of taking care of your patients, what's the most common mistakes people make so that we can learn from it?
Oh, this is a very good question. So patients with skin conditions like gegata ke, eczema ke, psoriasis usually will come in with they have already used all sorts of antibacterial soaps on their skin because they think it's an infection.
Uh-huh.
So they would have used the popular Dettol, Antabacs. Some of them shower in Dettol, the solution. So because they want to bunuh kuman, as they say,
Ah,
the bunuh
so
kuman. But all this showering in antibacterial soaps and whatever makes the skin actually worse. So if
oh,
you it will makes things worse. So I wouldn't actually suggest anyone to use antibacterial type things unless you're working in a hospital or something that you're exposed to this bacteria. If you have any skin condition that is itchy, please use very gentle body wash, baby, anything from the baby range, and start to put lotion. That is a first step that you can do. Start to put good
okay, got it.
just lotion, yeah.
Okay, so stay away from antibacterial wash because it makes it worse. Use baby stuff. Baby stuff always good. Okay, if it's safe for babies, it's safe for you. Okay, and lastly, if there's one thing that you want the audience to take home from today's episode, what would it be? What do you want them to take home?
Okay, so I want to say that eczema has no cure. Okay, and can only symptoms can only be managed, but there are certain times that the eczema will be gone and you feel like you have normal skin, but you need to be disciplined to take care of your skin. That's my
Wow.
final message.
So if you have eczema, you need to be disciplined in taking care of your skin. All right. Thank you so much, Doc. But it's not over yet because we've got Q&A and there's loads of questions coming up. So are you ready, Doc?
Cool, yes.
Okay, let's go to our first one. Hang on. Uh,
So
Okay, my son, 4-year-old, got this hives recently. The doctor gave him calamine lotion. This question is from Sarah Atika. Let's put it
okay,
up. So, can
okay.
this calamine lotion be applied to rash on his bum? That's a good question. Or
Okay.
any other area that might not be good. Yeah.
Well, calamine lotion, yes, Sarah, you actually can apply it anywhere. Try to avoid putting it on the face because calamine lotion is a bit dry. But
Mm.
Sarah, the important thing about treatment of hives is actually the your son would have to take antihistamines. Okay,
Oh,
antihistamine hives works from medicine needs to be from within, not something you apply on the top. So the calamine
mm.
lotion is just to control his itch a little bit, but the main treatment is actually to take the syrup antihistamine. I hope your doctor
Wow.
prescribed that. Yeah.
Okay, got it. So Mat Dean's question, who avoided buying on TikTok, miracle cream, well done Mat Dean. Doktor, contoh alergi pada baby umur 10 bulan, boleh ke guna krim yang beli kat farmasi tanpa bertanya kepada doktor terlebih dahulu? Good question.
Okay, so untuk Madin, actually dia bergantung kepada apa jenis alergi baby ni ada. Kalau alergi dia just sikit ruam dekat macam ruam susu ke apa, of course pharmacist pun dia boleh bagi, pharmacist pun pandai actually. Pharmacist akan bagi ubat yang paling mild sebab dia orang pun takut nak bagi ubat kuat. So dia orang akan, dia tahu to give the most mild medication untuk baby umur 10 bulan lah. So pada saya kalau ruam dia sikit-sikit okey untuk pergi farmasi. Kalau ruam lebih banyak tolong pergi doktor terus lah. So jangan tunggu pergi farmasi yang.
Doctor, GP or specialist?
Kalau ruam macam pertama kali kena ruam sikit, because eczema sangat common pada umur 10 bulan. Boleh pergi GP dahulu, kalau tak baik boleh rujuk kepada spesialis.
Okay, awesome. Mary Hannah. Hi, Mary. How are you? Has a question. Her question is, hi, doctor. Can we get allergy later on when we age? Because last time I'm not that sensitive. Last April, I was hospitalized with hives all over my body and said cause of chest infection. Ooh, good question.
Yeah.
What do you say, doc?
Yeah. Well, Mary, I hope you're okay now. Well, definitely we can get hives at any age. And as I mentioned earlier, sometimes hives are triggered by infections that occurred recently. So your chest infection could have triggered this. And I hope that it goes off within a couple of weeks and doesn't come back.
Okay. So it does happen at a later age?
Any age.
Any age, okay. So just because we got scot-free like me, you never know, you might get it. Okay.
Touch wood.
Yeah, so better pray a lot. Okay, Arina has a question. Is it true that one blood test can't determine the type of allergy? If so, what is the procedure to actually find out what type of allergy one has? Good question.
Yeah, well, Arina, basically, if we are talking about hives, there's a test that we can do. It's called skin prick test. For allergies such as eczema, we wouldn't actually do any kind of blood test because it's you wouldn't get the answer in it.
Right. Okay.
So I can
Right.
say that test is not it's not important to determine the type of allergy. Doctors will usually diagnose it based on the symptoms and then also based on history.
Right. Okay. So it's not necessarily blood test. Okay. We've got a couple of questions. But before that, it is 3:43 now. So I want to be mindful of your time here, Doc. So let's go into the quiz question. Yeah. So before we continue with the Q&A, we've got some awesome stuff for you up for grabs. That's right. It is quiz time. And as mentioned in the earlier part of the show, we've got some lunch boxes up for grabs. And now it is your chance to win them. But what do you need to do in order to win? First, you got to be sure to share this video out at least 3 times, and remember to set the share post to public so that everybody can see. So share this video out 3 times and set the share post to public. Next, answer the 3 questions that I'm going to be asking that I'm going to be showing on the screen in a single comment, and you're on your way to win the prizes. So share the video out. Remember to set the post to public. Secondly, answer the 3 questions that we're going to show on the screen in a single comment, and we're going to select 3 winners based on the correct answers and shared posts, which we will pick randomly. So are you ready? Let's take a look at the questions. Okay, so first question is, peanuts, eggs, and milk are a major food allergen in adults. True or false? Allergies can only happen at a specific age. True or false? Eczema and hives are types of skin allergies. True or false? Let me repeat that. Peanut, eggs, and milk are a major food allergen in adults. Is it true or false? Allergies can only happen at a specific age. True or false? And eczema and hives are types of skin allergies. True or false? So be sure to write your answers in a single comment, and we're going to pick the winners, all right? So while waiting for who the winners are, let's get back to the Q&A. I've got a question from Mat Dean, if you look at this. So, saya ada kena alergi 2 minggu lepas, satu badan naik ruam gatal-gatal. Bila pergi klinik, doktor kata saya alergik sebab sejuk. Wah, saya baru first timer dengar allergic kerana sejuk. Saya pun first time ya, Mat Dean. So, betul ke ni, Dok?
Okay, well, Mat Dean betul juga diagnosis ni. Tapi memang make sure yang diagnosis yang doktor tu masukkan is gegata lah ke benda lain. So maybe you can ask back the doctor, actually gegata ke doktor? Because there's such thing as a cold-induced hives. So maybe that's what the doctor meant. It's from cold, can be cold aircon or cold water. If we shower with cold water pun boleh kena gegata. So kalau benda ni tak berulang, tak apalah Encik Madin. Kalau berulang, I think better you see a specialist.
Confirm lah. You are the cold hives, yeah?
Cold
Cold
eyes.
induced hives, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you, Madin, because I didn't know such thing can happen. Okay, another question from Madin. Macam mana kita tahu kita ada allergic? Kerana setiap isi borang pasti ada penanyaan. Adakah saya allergic? Kadang saya tak tahu nak isi kolom tu kerana saya tak tahu saya ada allergic ubat atau sebagainya. Okay, that's a
Tapi
good valid question.
ya, Encik Madin, saya pun tak tahu saya allergic apa. Kalau kita tak makan benda tu, kita tak akan tahu allergic kita. So, kalau doktor tanya you ada allergic ke tak, kita based on apa yang kita pernah makan dan pernah ada side effect. So, kalau tak pernah ada allergic, so maksudnya no lah. Kita tick no.
Okay, bagus soalan Cik Madin. Aina has another question. Is hive gagata contagious? Because my brother lives in a hostel. What are precautions that he can take?
Okay, Aina, basically Gegata is not contagious, but since your brother is staying in a hostel actually you may have other kind of contagious skin conditions such as kudis buta, which is scabies. This is highly contagious. So Aina, you just have to make sure your brother's diagnosis ni betul-betul hives ke scabies. Kalau scabies, lain cerita dia. Kalau hives memang not contagious.
What is scabies, yeah? For those who maybe might not know what it is. Example, me.
Scabies Malay say kudis buta. So it's small little parasites, right, that bite our skin. So it's very gatal one lah. And it spreads where there's a lot of people staying together. So hostel is one of the target area. Hostel ke rumah orang tua memang have a lot of scabies infection. So for Aina, and it can be treated. Scabies infection can be treated, but the precautions have to be taken. Contohnya, she has to wash all the bed sheet and clothes in hot water. And then hygiene kena very good lah, like towel and baju change every day. So that's how you kill the parasite, scabies parasite.
Okay, got it. So Cecilia, by the way, guys, we're still waiting for our winners because nobody answered correctly. So take a look at the questions and answer wisely, okay? So there's still a chance for you to win the lunchbox. Giving you guys a tip. So let's go to the next question. Cecilia Chong asks, I was allergic to seafood as a child and have never had it since. How do I know if I'm still allergic to seafood? Actually, that's a good question. Could you be allergic to something and then not be allergic to it later? Just wondering.
Yeah, well, Cecilia, if your symptom was just a little bit of itchiness or nothing life-threatening, like, not like you couldn't breathe after eating a prawn or what. If it's just a very mild symptom, I would suggest you to actually just try it, because things that we were allergic to when we were a child, somehow as we grow older, we would have been exposed slowly through maybe inside the fried rice, there's some seafood we termakan, so our body can get used to it. So when we grow older, we might not be allergic anymore. So you must try a small amount to see whether you're allergic. As long as the allergy before was not a very serious, life-threatening allergy lah.
Okay, got it. That's a very good question. So Madin has a question again. Kelima berterusan termasuk allergic ke? That's a very good question.
Okay, kelumomo actually got banyak sebab. Salah satu ialah just eczema kulit kepala. Another one is fungus dekat kulit kepala. Number 3 yang quite common ialah psoriasis dekat kulit kepala. So kulit kepala punya kelumomo biasa bukan disebabkan oleh allergic lah. So it can is related to other conditions.
I see. Okay, so banyak reason lah. Sarah Atika has question, does our country use EpiPen for those with allergies? I would like to know more about EpiPen.
Oh, that's a very good question. Actually, our country, we cannot purchase EpiPen. So maybe you've seen in the movies where usually in American movies where there's somebody have a peanut allergy and somebody go and inject after, like, let's save his life by injecting the EpiPen. Unfortunately, in Malaysia, we do not have EpiPen easily available, and in fact, for doctors to purchase EpiPen also is very difficult, has to be imported from outside, and only certain doctors in Malaysia such as the immunologist doctor can prescribe it. Even I cannot prescribe that.
Wow. Okay. I did not know we don't have EpiPens because where I watch all these Hollywood movies and I just assume that they have them here. Great
Yeah.
question. Yeah. Okay. Mary Hannah's question is: Hi, doctor. Can we develop allergy later on? Because I don't have allergy to some food last time, but now I eat. So this is the opposite of the previous
Mm.
question. Yeah. Itch in my arms.
Okay, well, Mary, it's a bit unusual for an adult to suddenly get a food allergy. It's most likely not related to food. So the allergy that you're having now could be just eczema from dry skin, and sometimes, well, if it's just one part of your skin is becoming itchy after you eat egg, it's kind of unlikely that the egg is causing it, because if you consume egg, it should be a whole body getting allergy. How can it be so specific to just one portion of your hand? So it's most likely not a food allergy as adults.
Okay. It could be something else, right? Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
like just
external.
dry skin or yeah, like that.
Okay, got it. Okay, I think this is our last question. Kathy Rayson Palaya's question is: Hi, doc, can COVID vaccine trigger the itchiness? This is a great one because I keep hearing all these symptoms or because of the vaccine. Betul ke, doc? This question is: COVID vaccine trigger itchiness. Ya ke?
Well, I cannot prove it 100%, but I have to say I have so many patients have tell me the same thing. It is happen is patients who have dry skin before they took the vaccine. After they took the vaccine, their skin becomes more dry and things like eczema starts to become worse. So I can say COVID vaccine trigger the itchiness. I can't prove it in any way. There's no blood test I can do, but from my experience, it looks like yes, it
It looks
triggers dryness.
it triggers the dryness, which then triggers the itchiness.
Yeah.
Okay, which means you need to use more lotion lah,
Yeah.
moisturizer, right?
Yeah, senang.
Yeah. Well, I think that's probably a small price to pay for us living healthy.
Exactly,
Possibly.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Let me just have a look if there's any more. Okay, that's it. We've got our winners here. So before I announce who our winners are, let's find out what the correct answers are to our quiz questions, shall we? And Doc, you're going to help me by answering the correct answers, yeah? So the first one: peanuts, eggs, and milk are a major food allergen in adults. True or false, Doc?
This is false because, as
Uh-huh.
I mentioned earlier, in adults, it's very, very, very rare to get any kind of food allergens. So, peanuts, eggs, and milk is not a food allergen in adults. However, it's common in children.
Wow. Okay, got it. Allergies can only happen at a specific age. True or false, Doc?
This is false because we can have allergies at any age.
Okay, got it. So the above is okay. So the third question: eczema and hives are types of skin allergies. True or false?
Okay, this is true because skin allergies, as I told you, is a big umbrella. So, be in underneath skin allergies, there we can have eczema and hives. So, this is true.
Okay, got it. So are you ready to know who the winners are?
Yay!
Okay, cool. So the winners of the quiz are: number one, Cecilia Chong, Jacqueline Jancy Jimin, and Kelly Tan. Congratulations to all our winners. Okay, we're going to be contacting you within a day to get your details. So be sure to check your Facebook Messenger inbox so we can send you over the prizes. So check your Facebook Messenger, all right? Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Super insightful episode today. What was your biggest learning? Let us know in the chat. But for me, 5-day rule: if your itch is still there, it doesn't go away, time to see Dr. Meera, okay?
Thanks.
Kind of thing. Yeah, and another thing, blood test doesn't cause anything. If you're allergic to a certain food, it and if you omit it out, it doesn't mean that you're cured. It still means that you're allergic. It's just that you're not eating the thing that triggers it, right? Kind of
Yeah.
thing. So pretty huge learning for me. Thank you so much, Doc, for enlightening us about skin itchiness, allergies, eczema, as well as hives. So a huge round of thank you to Dr. Mira, and a huge round of applause as well. I definitely learned a lot. Yeah. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got another super insightful session indeed today. Super loving that you're getting tremendous value out of this. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. But if you know someone who's going to benefit from today's episode, who can really appreciate the tips, the info, and insights from Dr. Mira today, please do share this video out. Tag them, because you never know who it's going to make a difference to, and give us a lot of likes and love. We need to let everybody know about this 5 days thing, right? It should be a step thing. Okay, so thank you again. Till then, thank you. Take care of yourself and each other, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you, Dr. Mira.
Bye.
Bye.